I guess I lied. Just having a little bit too much fun with the playing with the bow drill for the day, and so far we've done 2 stick and 2 hole, and the third that I guess I could do with the materials at hand is the through hole. So the through hole is yet another technique described in Morris Kochansky's book, and I really can't say I understand this one. In fact, you know, every time I think about it, I sort of get this wild thought in my head. Do you ever think that Morris is just trying to screw with us? I mean, what was the purpose of the through hole method? I mean, it just boggles my mind. Why is that easier than the notch technique? I can't really figure it out. But you know, it does work, and maybe, you know, it was running through Moore's head that this is a training exercise, and if we're going to build our skills, we need to go through this whole routine of learning the different things. So we're gonna try the through hole technique and see if we can get it going. And then there's one more that I'd like to add a video to, and that's the sort of the natural crack technique. Actually, Rick Marchand shows me the natural crack, and I'm talking a little bit more than the plumber's butt that he likes to flash once in a while. But it's actually employing a crack that's already present or in a checked piece of wood, and you're going to use that as your notch instead of making your notch instead. So, but I don't really have any pieces of wood, or at least hearthwood, which with a natural checkpoint in my sort of little stock that I have at home right now. So we're going to forego that one until I can forage something in the woods. So with that, let's start off with our through hole technique. And the first step is we're going to use the same hearth that we did the two holes. So I have my old holes drilled in here, and then I'm going to have a couple of wedges here that I'll use to prop up the hearth once I get a divot going. But I'm going to use the same basswood hearth, which is a lot easier to do. And again, I think dealing with these challenging techniques, we want to deal with easy to use methods as opposed to difficult to use methods. So I'm going to start off my divot here, and I'm going to go a little bit aggressive on this divot because I have to get a hole all the way through this board. So the first thing I'm going to do is drill this out, get myself a relatively deep hole, and then we're going to use the tip of the knife to basically drill a hole from the other side of the hearth for the dust to collect and drop into. So that should be good there. And what we're going to do is then drill our hole with our knife tip on the other side of the hearth. Why this is easy? I don't know. I don't find it particularly easy. But now I suppose you can get a smaller drill and use the bow drill to drill on this side, and I might be recalling that that is what Morse suggests you do. So, and of course, I've got my hole just a little bit off-centered here from what I should be on the other side. Tony M just made a comment about my knife safety in my last video, and I'm trying the best that I can to not split my finger wide open doing these subsequent videos, because there's one thing I'm really good at is cutting my fingers with my knife. So I'm going to use this ash spindle again, and drill it. I guess that would be the point, right? If I were to get a divot on the bottom side, so we're sort of almost through. I'm not completely in line there, so I sort of poked a hole through the two of them. Not exactly centered, but I'm going to switch back to my cottonwood drill, just because I like it better than the ash. Not that I don't like ash drills, but I like the size of this cottonwood drill better. And I really have no idea what to look for in terms of when the coal is done, but it looks like, and I have been known to be premature on this stuff, we didn't quite get it. We were very close, but not quite enough dust formed. And my problem, you can see here, is that if I drill any longer with the two-hole, or the through-hole, I'm going to drive my drill right through the hearth. And I don't think that's what we want to do. So, miserable, miserable technique. Moors, you're screwing with us. I know you are. So, we got to start over again. So, I've got about a 1/4 inch there. I'm going to try and eyeball this so that I'm a little bit better centered than I was before. Nice thing about basswood is it is really soft, which I just like better. Down in my divot here. It seems like such a waste to have all this drilling going on. I haven't yet cracked through the other side of my divot. So, I probably could use a, there we go. So I am through the second hole here. And the last time, I think I made too big of a hole. So, and I was drilling too fast. So I've got a little tiny hole. Don't know if you can see that. And there's connection between the two divots on either side. And I'm going to take my time on this bowing. Again, one of the difficulties I find with this method is there isn't a lot of cues that I can see as to whether or not you have an ember formed. So you just seem to stop, take a look. I'm trying not to put too much pressure on. I'm just keeping a lot of speed going. So what happened there was it looked like a little coal had formed, and it was stuck to the underside of this bottom piece. And I was able to knock that baby off, and it looks like we've got some action happening. So we do have a coal. I'm going to run and grab the camera, get a close-up shot. All right. I recognize my voice jumps up that I'm much closer to the mic now. But here's our coal, and it's coaled up pretty nicely. And I want to go through our hearth. I'm going to back this up off here and get the hearth so that we can see the top one was our first failure and the bottom one was our success. And you can see with the top one that we were about to plunge that drill right through the hearth, which I'm assuming is not a good thing. And the bottom one, this is where we were drilling on this particular side, and so you can see it's all pretty smooth there. And on the top of the hole, we had a little bit of stringy stuff that kind of held onto that ember. Okay, we're back onto the tripod. We've got our little ember here. Not a whole lot of dust, so I'm just gonna kind of nurse this a little bit. And I guess it's being a little theme. I'm using a different thing for tinder baskets each time. So I've got a little like cattail fluff, and I got some really good, really soft punk wood. It's pretty dry, previously harvested. So you know, the punk wood can be kind of ground up into a little dust bit. You can use this as a coal extender. What I'm preparing in my hands right now is another material that's quite plentiful around here. This is grapevine, and the outer bark of grapevine. And this is pretty fibrous stuff. I'm not really doing the best job at grinding this stuff that's so fibrous to begin with. I probably should have torn it into little shreds first. But at least it's very, very dry. And maybe we'll just use this as the base of our nest. And I'm going to use one of my favorite little things here, which is Phragmites. Grab a little bit of that punk wood. And there we go. So let me own up to a few errors and misconceptions, because when I started the video off, I had the impression that, and I sort of forgot about drilling the divot, using the divot to drill the two holes on either side. So I sort of had this impression in my head that I was going to drill the first divot through and then kind of poke a hole with my knife, and then I was going to sort of prop this up with a couple of studs.